Hello, 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 hello. So glad you are here. Today we're going to be working on the control arms and putting the rear suspension together. Can't wait for that. But we start with something a little messy. We got this, hang on. We got this lower control arms. We got the, get over here. We got the upper control arms. We got the toe adjustment arms, like so many arms, right? And all of them have bushings and all of them need to be filled with grease. So I got myself this bad boy. This is a grease gun. I've never worked with a grease gun before. But now it's time to start. Otherwise, I'm gonna be covered in grease head to toe. It's gonna be a miserable experience without one. I did get a special lock and lube attachment. People told me, by all means, spend a little extra, get this one, otherwise that grease will go anywhere except where you want it to be. Someone on YouTube left a comment, said this channel should be called Building a Cobra with minimum tools and minimum skills. And to that I say, yes, absolutely. That's exactly what this channel is. We're building a Cobra with minimal experience and minimal tools. Well, some tools we absolutely do need, so there's one of them. Just start filling this up. All right, off we go. Also, a word of caution, before you install the spacers and grease everything, take the bushings out, clean out the legs, because there's a ton of shavings, aluminum shavings from them drilling the hole through or manufacturing process or whatnot. Could have been done at the factory, but also it's like, hey, this is DIY, what do you expect? So double check everything so it's clean and good to go.
Grease on the hair, grease on the sleeve, grease on the bench, grease on my keys. I crack that lid, it drips like gold, hands stay shining even when it's cold. Grease in my tools, grease in the chain, grease on the wrench.
So the no grease on my hands plan with a grease gun failed spectacularly. I still got grease everywhere.
You're Slippin' Jimmy. And Slippin' Jimmy I can handle just fine.
Good thing I have no shortage of rags or paper towels. A bunch got inside the spacers, so I'm taking it out. None of this is the end of the world. All of this is kind of expected. I was hoping for a magic bullet or something like that, where I would deposit the grease inside and be done with it. Of course, it didn't work like that, but close enough. This is just a messy job, and everything is to be expected. But at least this arm, ooh, like these spacers don't sit there at all. Oh, come on. I'm gonna treat this careful, otherwise otherwise I'll have greasy spacers rolling all over the floor everywhere. All right, now that we're moving into the toe adjustment arm and the upper control arm, this is where it gets fancy. Rather than give you a Lego style page-by-page manual of random photos at weird angles, and you try to figure out, well, how did they put it in there? Like, how do I get it the same way? They just give you a blueprint, which I think is fantastic for anyone who is of an engineering mind. A blueprint is the source. You just look, it's an exploded diagram. It's an exploded diagram of how things are supposed to fit together. All right, awesome. There's a couple of downsides. One, they didn't put in the raster into the PDF. So PDF is supposed to be a raster format. So if you zoom in and you scale, this is the huge advantage of the PDF, unlike the printed blueprint, is that you can zoom in infinitely and understand what this is. Unfortunately, they put in a scanned photo into the PDF. So as you zoom in, the quality goes to garbage and you can't even read what it says. So I had Claude analyze it, because it does OCR way better than my eyes, and tell me, like, what do you read on this page? Okay, that problem is solved. Now, this is probably the time to talk about the indispensable tool. Let me pull it out. The indispensable tool that for some reason they don't mention at all, but I find myself absolutely naked without it. It is der Stangenzirkel. The Americans would know it as a caliper. As we're getting into various washers, bolts, nuts, what have you, we have strange gaps, we have spacers of various size. This is the only way to determine reliably how far off you are, or what do you need to close the gap, so on and so forth. It doesn't cost much, indispensable on everything, because you can't trust your tape measure, you're going to be too far off. Like you're dealing with millimeters here or fractions of an inch. Particularly because as you get into these bolts, yes, they're labeled and they're all in individual packets like this. Thank you, FFR. This is super nice of you to label every bolt and nut. But if for some reason you get it out of the bag and then you forget where it was, Lord have mercy on your soul. So the only way to determine reliably what this is, back to the caliper, measure it, figure this out, compare the photos, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is a M16 with a flange head and all of that. All right. Having said that, I now need to assemble all of these components together for the tool arm and then put them back. Putting them back is not a problem, it's just finding all the right parts to make sure I follow the blueprint correctly. There's that. Second problem, there's a bit of a discrepancy between what they ship as fasteners, what they call out on the blueprint, and even the callouts themselves compared to what's drawn, right? For example, there are two spacers drawn out there, and I can see that one, whoa, I can see that one is thicker than the other, and both of them are called out at 0.25 inches. All right, let's measure this guy. Yep, 0.25. The other one is 0.12, which makes sense, but why does the call out on the blueprint list two different parts with an identical thickness and identical material? That doesn't make any sense.
Now think about that. That does not make sense.
They just simply forgot to update it on the blueprint. So these are the things you kind of have to work through, and then the final piece of surprise is that, thank you FFR, they label everything into packages. So this package reads M14 2.0 flange nut, except the blueprint doesn't call for a flange nut, it calls for a hex nut, and this is what's inside a hex nut. So you have to put all of this together and kind of work with Claude. Like, Claude, what do you see? What do I see? Does this fit? Measure it, and then it all starts to come together as we lay out the assembly for the toe arm on the table and then ultimately screw together. So stay with me, this is what we're gonna do.
Until I started working on this car, I didn't realize how hard it is to get fasteners in Bay Area. If you look at the map, all the fasteners have closed and moved out. There's a single Granger, but you have to ship everything, so they don't have a lot in stock.
I need a M20 washer if you carry it.
M20?
Yeah, M20, the big one, the big guy.
I only go to 12.
Home Depot is more construction oriented, so they don't have those specific washers or lock nuts or whatnot, and it looks like a war zone in this cabinet. Then there is McMaster Car, but their shipping, even though very quick, adds up, especially for small orders, so you have to plan ahead. And then finally, there is Orchard Supply, which I didn't realize still exists, but when I got in there, I was like, man, this is exactly what I need. They had everything in stock, neatly sorted. It was amazing.
All right, it's time to attach everything in place. I got the upper control arms, toe adjustment arm, CV axle, and a lower control arm. So let's just start installing them in place. That's gonna be fun. Okay, so that was pretty easy. The next step is the lower control arm. Try not to mount it upside down like I did on the other side. If they just said mount it with the grease zerks or whatever they're called, mount them looking down, I wouldn't have made a mistake. But it says something along like mount them with the spindle mounts up. Okay, I thought that would be a spindle mount. Like how would I? Well, I should have known. I should have flipped a little further down the line and looked at the illustrations carefully, but I didn't. I was like, okay, that makes sense. It didn't. No big deal. Undid the nuts and reinstalled it, but just save yourself some time. Let's go ahead and install it.
If you think the mounting holes in the frame are drilled out to size, I got news for you. They're not. Perhaps they were drilled out to size originally, but after applying the powder coat, they became a little undersized, and so the bolt threads don't feel through, and you gotta hammer them in. Not terrible, off by just a few microns, but yet another application for the magic hammer.
Okie doke, so next step, the upper control arm. There's no particular way that will tell you right away which side is up, which side is down. So they do tell you, point these grease nipples down. So here I didn't make a mistake. I actually installed it correct the first time. Now, as usual, I expect a little misalignment on the frame ears, of course. Not terrible, just needs to be driven a little bit. Come on. There you go. Good enough, good enough. There's an old joke I keep thinking of when I'm working on this car. It's an old Soviet joke. Soviet engineer defects to the West, comes to the United States and brings a bunch of blueprints for the latest fighter jet. Americans are ecstatic. The CIA is celebrating. Like, all right, let's run this production and see what they have. So they run the production on the blueprints, and what they get out in the end is a tank. And they're like, what is this? Did we make a mistake? Let's run it again. They run it again, out comes out a tank. So they call the engineer and say, like, what's the issue? Why don't we get a jet fighter on the end of the production line? And the engineer looks at them and says, read the note on the blueprints. And they read the note, and the note says, after final assembly, take the metal file and work all the surfaces. That's exactly what this is. Now it's time for CV axles. So I got these two beasts right here. All right. Surprisingly, they're not the same. One is a little longer than the other. So you gotta measure. Let's see. This one is 5.5. This one is 6. That's enough to get me going. On the manual it says the 6.30. Not in a half, 6.30 goes into the left side. Very important not to mix them up. So let's go ahead and install this guy into the left side. Now, naively, I thought, and I don't know why, that I would just insert it into the rear diff. It will click and off we go. I must have watched too many sci-fi movies.
About completing the mission.
Dr. Mann, listen.
Come on, TARS. But no, this is yet another instance where insert it in, and then you got to take a big blow hammer and whack at it until it goes into place. All right, it tells you to stop when there's about 3 millimeters left, which is where we are. If I pull on this, it shouldn't come out. No, it doesn't come out. So the CV axle's in place. Yet another use for the caliper, really indispensable on everything that we're doing here. Now is our moment of truth. We're gonna see if the spindle that we drilled and cut was done right. Because if it's not, we're in big trouble. I'm in big trouble. There you go. Okay, awesome. That is in place. Okay, and Joe, all right, and now what we gotta do is basically attach the spindle to the lower arm, the upper arm to the tool, and see that it all fits. And if we screwed up on any of our drilling or sewing, that is gonna be immediately obvious. All right, let's do it. We got the bolt. We don't have the nut because Factory 5 forgot to send me the lock nut for this. It's not in the package. Not a big deal, but come on, guys. You could have packed all the fasteners together a little better. Like I said, I don't have the lock nut. If I knew just this morning, I was at the Orchard Supply Hardware, and surprisingly, they have a ton of fasteners. I could have picked up a lock nut, no problem. Fooled me once, shame on you. Fooled me twice, like George Bush said. Whatever, right? I do have a piece of advice for you for installing the tool arm. Before you do, make sure that it slips in here without an issue, because of course, in my case, it didn't. So I had to put it in the vise and adjust here and there. I just basically bend the ears until they would fit. Because once everything is in place like this, you're gonna have a much harder time adjusting anything. You're just not gonna have the leverage. But look at that. I am truly amazed. I'm mystified that all of this worked out, because this is far more complex than the front geometry. The lower control arm doesn't adjust at all. Front and the toe is what keeps the wheel going. Plus we have another point of connection, which is CD axle. Getting all of them together, I thought this was gonna be a lot tougher than it turned out to be, based on all the previous experiences with this. Next is the shock. This wonderful piece of equipment, and it goes in like this. Sweet. All right, and now we got the rear suspension on one side. We got the center section. We got the rear suspension on the other. I know that everything is hand tight, but I will tighten this up when I install the brakes, which is going to be our next stop. Well, all right. I honestly feel like celebrating. This turned out to be a little easier than I thought it would be. The rear suspension, I know it's hand tightened, but next I'm gonna install the brakes. Stay tuned. I'm super excited at the amount of comments I'm getting. I'm so glad that you stick around with me. So I'm gonna move on. My next step is emergency, as I said, emergency brake and the actual brake. I do have rear brakes, which is amazing. I do have rear brakes. So stay tuned, stay with me. Like, subscribe, as usual, comment, send me messages. I read all of them. I truly, truly appreciate all of your advice. You guys are grizzled veterans. Oh, I've assembled 10 cars like this 20 years ago. That's awesome. Send me anything you've got. I'm always happy to read it and respond. With that said, happy Father's Day. Today is Saturday, tomorrow is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. I'm probably not gonna work tomorrow. I'm gonna relax, have a beer, maybe two, and I will see you on another episode. Take care now.